We're going to be looking at Leviticus 21 and 22 today. And if you're keeping up and if you're managing to get on through Leviticus, well done. Keep going, press on, because you don't want to fall now. I know it's quite hard. I know it's a bit baffling. I hope that these little videos are helping and encouraging you just a little bit. I want us to pull out just one thing from the readings that you've either just been doing or just about to do from these two chapters. And it's these words from Leviticus 21. Let me read them to you from 16. The Lord spoke to Moses, saying, "Speak to Aaron and say, none of your offspring throughout their generations who has a blemish may approach to offer the food of his God. For no one who has a blemish shall draw near, one who is blind or lame, or one who has a mutilated face, or a limb too long, or one who has a broken foot, or a broken hand, or a hunchback, or a dwarf, or a man with a blemish in his eyes, or an itching disease, or scabs, or crushed testicles. No descendant of Aaron the priest who has a blemish shall come near." That's language for coming into the sanctuary. Now, these are hard words, and these have caused many people real distress over the years. So I wanted to just point them out to you because you'll almost certainly have noticed them anyway, and just to speak about them very briefly. Now, remember that we've been speaking again and again about these categories of unclean, clean, and holy, and how this category of unclean is by no means always an ethical judgment or a judgment about somebody's sinful state. This is this category of unclean that includes a number of physical ailments as well in the mind of the ancient writer and of ancient Israel. So what's going on here is that Moses is telling Aaron, God is telling Aaron through Moses, that certain people in this category cannot be brought into the sanctuary to serve. That was the deal in those days. And I suppose what we learn from that is that it is God's prerogative to choose whom he will use and whom he will not use. We see that actually, we've seen that long ago. You saw that in probably on your second or third day of your read through in Genesis 4, where Cain and Abel both brought an offering. We're not told that Cain's offering was inferior. We're just told that God looked with favor on Abel's. That is God's prerogative. C.S. Lewis famously said he's not a tame lion. God gets to choose and we don't. But I want to show you how that tricky little passage from Leviticus is kind of overturned in the life of Jesus. We need to think about who gathers around Jesus in the Gospels. So in Matthew 11, for example, we read these words, if I can just scroll down to them, bear with me. This is John the Baptist inquiring of Jesus of, are you the one that we're supposed to expect, or is somebody else coming after you? And Jesus' reply is this: go back and report to John what you hear. The blind see, the lame walk, the lepers are healed, the deaf hear, the dead are raised, and good news is preached to the poor. So Jesus is reversing all of these categories and bringing them near. Jesus is the fulfillment of everything that the tabernacle did in the Old Testament. And so if Jesus is gathering such people around him, and remember what we said when he met a leper before, we talked about this last time, of how when he touched a leper, the contamination didn't flow to him, but the holiness, the cleansing flowed outwards from him. Something similar going on here. And we see a number of places in the Gospels where we see lists like this of people who are around Jesus, the broken, if you like, of the world. We see it again in the parable Jesus gives, the parable of the wedding banquet, and remember the original people didn't respond to their invitation. This is Luke 14, and then the master says, okay, go out into the streets and the alleys of the city and bring in the poor, the crippled, the blind, and the lame. These are the people who couldn't serve in the temple. These are the people who are preferentially being welcomed into the kingdom of God. And one more thing related to this. Remember, someone with a crushed testicles couldn't serve. So in Acts, we read of a eunuch who is reading the book of Isaiah and puzzling about what it means. And Philip draws alongside him and explains it to him, and the eunuch becomes a Christian. All of these things are reversed in the kingdom of God. All of these things that did exclude people in Leviticus are reversed with the coming of Jesus.